we use fitness as a way to show to ourselves that we can be disciplined and we can see these changes happen.
We are going to talk a ton about fitness to start in this group and community in this podcast, but we together have realized that, as Kevin mentioned, deep health is a much bigger and more influential area to talk about because it consists of everything that makes up that lifestyle.
Mentally, physically, emotionally, socially, existentially, you're in a position to know who it is that you want to be, where you are, and taking actionable steps to get there every single day. And that's why we're doing this. Welcome to the first episode of the Beyond Coaching podcast. We're going to be doing this for a while. That's the plan, regularly, consistently. And we'll have a couple different types of episodes for you. What we've discussed so far is having more conversational, direct conversations about experiences and what we're doing inside the community, habit building to help you work towards deep health, physical, mental, emotional, social, and existential health. We will bring in a ton of guests. We have some great guests lined up over the next few months. I won't get into that too much now, but we're excited to have some epic conversations with some killers in the health and wellness industry, as well as branching into other industries, talking about their experiences. And then we're going to have some shoot the shit podcast where we can talk about some a little bit more fun topics outside of the realm of coaching. So you can enjoy other aspects of life as well. So my name's Kevin, and I'm here to help you, right? At the end of the day, titles are free, businesses could be named anything, but at the end of the day, I want to bring to you my experiences and a little bit of energy so you can put that into your day and move forward with some positive thoughts, and so you can take positive actions. And we're going to talk today a little bit more about how we got here and why we got here under this name, Beyond Coaching, what that means, what we stand for, our core values, our promise. And it's about damn time that you and I, Christopher Olsen Fitness, got into a rhythm with going live and putting it out there, because we've been behind the scenes for a little while. So what are you excited about when it comes to this show and what we're doing with Beyond Coaching?
Absolutely. I'm excited to not necessarily have a redo, but to do better than what we did with our last community and coaching group. And it's not that we obviously did anything bad. I think we helped a ton of people, but I think we both know, and part of why we've been behind the scenes is that we have a even better way to do that. We have a deeper insight into how we can help people. And we are going to talk a ton about fitness to start in this group and community in this podcast. But we together have realized that, as Kevin mentioned, deep health is a much bigger and more influential area to talk about because it consists of everything that makes up that lifestyle. So I'm excited to bring that just because, like you said, I think it's been since May at this point that we haven't been full tilt with our group stuff. So I'm excited to share and help more people. And for me, from a personal perspective, playing sports for a majority of my life, D3 football, leaving that, dropping out of college, I've gone through a whole bunch of things that a lot of people don't know about me, injuries and all kinds of things that I think I can bring a positive perspective to when you're struggling. I think, I've hopefully helped a little bit with you on your perspective, right, with your injury. And that's what I'm really excited to do, is just continue to help people and help people get a better understanding of who we are, who Kevin is, who I am. I think a lot of people look at Kevin and I and they say, oh, those are some all-American white guys right there. And I think there's a lot more to us than that. I think we have a lot more to say than what you see when you just look at us, because people think, well, they work out for a living, or they've always kind of been that way. And, I know for you, that's certainly not been the case. And there's more to my story too. So I'm excited to hit all these different areas and really dive in.
Yeah. I mean, and you said a few things there that I want to lean into a little bit more and dig. The first thing that you said was leaning into fitness first. Why is that important? And why do you think that's where we want to start? I'll share my thoughts in a second too, but you mentioned it. So when we talk about health, fitness, wellness, nutrition, why fitness? Why are we starting there?
Yeah, I think we both know the impact it's had on our personal lives. We both have worked with a lot of people through CrossFit personal training, and we understand the value that fitness has. And I actually think that's the lowest hanging fruit. for people. I think that in today's world, although there's a lot of people who maybe struggle to work out, I think there's a lot more people who do exercise in some capacity, whether that's group class, CrossFit, F45, run club. You see these like singles run clubs. You're seeing all kinds of things that are getting people more involved in fitness. I'm seeing a lot more people taking a step back from alcohol because of fitness. And I think that's been a pretty cool shift to see. And I just think it's the lowest hanging fruit. I think it's the most accessible. And I think it's actually the least scary because of what's happened in, I would say, since COVID with all of the social media stuff that's come up. I don't want to quite call it propaganda, but we see a lot of different perspectives. Everyone thinks they have metabolic issues now, which may or may not be true. Everyone thinks that they need detox booty tea. They need to have this equipment. They need to have X, Y, and Z. And, we know that that's not true. And our mission here is to help people understand that that can fit into your lifestyle. It should fit into your lifestyle. It needs to be a priority because there's no negatives of fitness. As long as you're doing it intelligently, there's no negatives.
Yeah, I agree. And I like the term low hanging fruit. It's easy to grab. It's right there. And for me, it's like, it's what can move the needle forward with the least resistance, right? We can do something with our lives that makes us feel like we're seeing progress versus with even nutrition, another physical aspect, we're typically taking something away and changing what we're doing versus going in and learning as we go. And yes, I think there are parallels when it comes to learning about nutrition and like actually seeing the same results and feeling better overall. You speak about metabolic health, like people want to like fix their gut before they even know what they're putting in their body. There's a lot that can go wrong with fitness, with both fitness, but I was going to say first and foremost nutrition. And the reason why I want to start with fitness is because it is more fun. It's just more fun to do something versus than to think on how I'm going to fit in this food during my day. And the goal with everything is to make this simple and effective, to make it easily approachable where you don't have any, we're not adding stress to your life. We're just giving you an option to have this fitness flexibility and see where you are, see where you want to be, and put some steps in place so we can see progress over time. Like that's consistent along the way. And I think you're right. Like for me, more recently with my injury, I've been in a regular gym, a bro gym, traditional gym. And I like it. It takes me back to my roots and like getting in, like going to the YMCA in high school after school and like just lifting with my brothers in college. Like it feels good to be there, and I'm very observative. I'm observing my brain. More energy drink needed.
It's all right. We're just getting started.
I've been observing the people who are there, and like, of course, my mind goes to like, I want to fix that guy's squat form, and I really want to help this person with the their form over here. But the fact is, it's busy. It's busy in the morning. It's busy in the evening. Like, I have to wait for machines and like ask to work in with people, and I like that, right? I think that like if anybody's like truly going to hurt themselves and be like, hey man, like I know I got one arm right now, but can I give you a tip? But you're right. Nowadays, more than ever, and it's not the new year. It's right now. It's the we're heading into the holiday season, so hopefully it sticks that way, and for over the next 2 months, where people can continue their fitness and become a fitter version of themselves going into the new year. But it's exciting to see. Everywhere I go, there's a run club as well, or someone trying to form community. And I actually just read it through a newsletter, and I don't know if you're on the same newsletter, but my buddy Eric wrote a newsletter, and he's, I'm going to ruin what he said, but it was really about, meet up, move, and then, with that, like you can expand that community and go beyond other people, right? So it's really difficult to do it alone. And that's a big part about what we want to create is like community around this, online, in person events, meetups, challenges, gamification. And we're going to talk about all that, if not on this episode, in the coming episodes when we dive into more about what we're doing in the group. But the other thing that you mentioned in the beginning was, I think I have to go back and listen again, but something along the lines of the, us being like what people see that we do versus who we are. And I actually wrote about this morning, where, this injury was a reminder that fitness is not my identity. It's something that I do to take care of myself. And like the story goes, my father passed away at 59 years old, and I promised that I would never go into a place that I used to be like 300 pounds overweight. My work was all out of whack. So it's not who I am. It's just a part of what I do to become the person of who I am. So, lean into that a little bit more. Like when people see what we do, especially when we're training together, and like how like gung ho we are about being healthy and our shirts are off, like that's not who we are. It's just we get excited and have fun doing those things, but we are actual people who run businesses and help other people at the same time. So like, talk to me about like that thought process.
Yeah. I think, going back, like I was fortunate. I started working out when I was 15. So I've always worked out. Through injuries, through everything, the last 16 going on 17 years, I've always worked out. And yeah, I think that puts me above a certain percentage of people because I've remained consistent with it. And part of that is because it took me a while to realize why, but that's one of the only things throughout my life that I've been able to control, right? Because there's a lot of things that we can control. We have some control over things we can't control. For me, fitness has always been a thing that I can control. I know I kind of veered away from what your question kind of was.
No, you're good. Just keep rolling.
But yeah, so I think that when you look at us and you see like, yeah, these fit guys, like, yeah, it's not always been this way. Like you said, you have your past, I have my past. And there's more to us than that, right? Like I love science and I didn't even know I love science probably till it was too late school-wise.
Didn't love it in school, I bet.
Didn't love it in school. I did love physics. I did love physics. I didn't love chemistry, even though that's like the most relevant, arguably, to what we do.
Chemistry was really hard for me.
It was tough. I wasn't, honors chemistry. Okay. But yeah, like I didn't know what I enjoyed about all that stuff. And going deeper than that was I really enjoyed the community part, right? Because I grew up in a weight room in high school, right? I couldn't wait for school to be done so that those 3, 4, 5 days, whatever amount of days we were going, I was going to go work out with whoever. When I was 15, I was working out with the 18-year-olds and down. And when I was the 18-year-old, I was working out with the younger guys. And I just love that community aspect of it. Not because it was an opportunity to show off even. Honestly, I liked working hard. I liked beating people at things, right? There is that competitive part of it. And I don't think there's anything wrong with having a competition, but like the competition is really within ourselves. And that's what has fueled me the whole time, right? I'm always competing with myself. I always want to be better when I see an old picture of myself. When I first started personal training, for example, I started personal training when I was 20 years old, going on 21, kind of on the cusp of my birthday. And I just had shoulder surgery. And I was probably in the worst shape I had been in that point throughout all of my last like 16 plus years of training. And I saw a picture of myself from that and I'm like, man, I can't even believe that I looked like that. And it wasn't that I was even so bad, right? I had a higher body fat. I just hadn't been able to do X, Y, and Z things, but I was taking that opportunity to learn a whole new way to work out. And I was exposed to that early because of that. I was in a personal training trade school, which not a lot of people have even heard of or know that that's a thing. And I had to do the whole 6-month course I did with one arm. And it was a really great experience because I had to figure out how to do things differently. It made me better as a trainer right out of the gate, not just because of what I learned and the way I learned, which was amazing. And I'll love to talk about that another day. But it forced me to think differently and also really just not make excuses, right? Because how can I go do a job where I need to train somebody and then I'm making an excuse that I can't do X, Y, Z, right? Even I tore my ACL when I was 24, 25, I think. And that was the only job I had, the only income I have. So I'm 3 weeks out of surgery, not moving super well, obviously. And I'm crutching around the city, like going from 2 different gyms, trying to make things work. I'm still training my clients. And even that, for me, that was important, not because of just the money. The money was important, but what was more important was showing up and showing people that, well, if I can do this on crutches and show up to your session, doing this 30-minute trek coming from here to here, you can show up for yourself. So it was about showing up for me and proving to myself that I could do that. But also I would use that as a hopeful inspiration to other people that would see me training, that would see me training my clients. Like, okay, what is my excuse? This guy's here or they would maybe were judging me and making an excuse about it. But either way, I wanted to show up and be there and be that person for myself and for everybody around me. And again, it was always because I didn't understand it fully, but that was about being able to inspire and influence people in the community, whether I knew it or not.
I love that. And I think that speaks to your character, right? And the ability to not be defined by what other people's expectations are at a certain point in your life. Like it takes time to figure out, especially now as the world moves so quickly, who it is you are, what it is you want to do, where it is you're going to lean into, what you want to grow in, who you want to surround yourself with, right? You know, I'm going to be 40 sooner, closer than I am to 30 at this point. So I get that. And similarly, like I have my own story of being super overweight, heavily into drinking drugs, surrounding myself with the wrong people, failing out of school, where I was doing, when I did very well in school early on, I just wasn't prepared for it and had the whole like, life isn't fair mentality. And like, this sucks right now. And like, I was not looking at who I wanted to become. And then, you know, life's going to throw you a couple curveballs and beat you up and knock you down. And, you know, like I love that I'm competitive with myself mindset, because you could still have fun and compete. Right. I was watching the World Series last night and like the game was back and forth. And the announcer says something along the lines like, hey, like you've been doing this your whole life. Like if you can't have fun on the biggest stage, why are you doing this at all? And I think that goes for each and every single one of us. Like, it may not be professional baseball that we've been doing our whole life, but being a good person is a great place to start. And like defining what that means is a better place to start. Or like now we have an idea of who it is that we want to become. So what actions do we take without getting in our own way? And for us, I'll say for me, I think we're on the same page, but we use fitness as a way to show to ourselves that we can be disciplined and we can see these changes happen through injury. You know, coming like I was fit as hell growing up. I played sports. I was captain of the lacrosse team forever. And then I went to college and I said, I don't need to do this anymore. And then I gained 100 pounds. And there I was, like looking in the mirror, not knowing who I was looking at, feeling down and depressed myself, deciding that I'd rather go get another beer than actually go to the gym, until this episode happened. There's a past episode. You can go listen to that. I'll link it in the bottom because I don't want to spend another 20 minutes talking on it. But I had this come to moment where I was the one who needed to be competitive with myself. And I was the one who needed to hold myself accountable to where it is that I wanted to go. And that was just not being 300 pounds anymore. And, you know, slowly but surely, thankfully, up until this moment with my arm, like I haven't had a lot of injuries or setbacks to deal with. But like you said, like looking back at that old version of yourself, knowing what they went through to get a win, like reminds me today that even though I'm one arm down, I'm all in mentally, and there's no way you can stop me. To the other side of that, like people notice, people recognize, and they may not tell you, but I mean, this time around, I've had people that I don't even talk to regularly reach out more so than ever before. Are you okay? How's the recovery going? How's your arm doing? And to me, I'm just like, I'm good. I haven't really done much yet. I start physical therapy on Friday, so it might be a different story about how pain my arm is after that.
Oh yeah.
However, yeah. However, I'm taking it one day at a time and controlling what I can so I can move forward. And I know that I'm going to come back better. Like there's no doubt in my mind that I'm going to come back a better version of myself, physically, mentally, you know, the people I surround myself with, the way I talk to people, the way I hold up my head nice and high and be proud of what I've accomplished. Because I could look at this as a setback and say like, oh, fuck it, I'm not going to do anything. And like when we start, but why do that when we don't know how much time we have left on this earth? Like,
Sure.
we get to be a better version of ourselves if we so choose. And I think you and I come from different backgrounds, right? But the journey is the journey all the same. And we decided to be here so we can bring a little bit more of that to each and every single one of you on this show, inside the Beyond Coaching community, working with us in different capacities so that mentally, physically, emotionally, you know, socially, existentially, you're in a position to know who it is that you want to be, where you are, and taking actionable steps to get there every single day. And that's why we're doing this. So I want to finish this episode with saying, like, a lot of what we're going to say is going to sound super woo woo. I'm not going to lie about that. You know, we're pretty kind and, you know, understanding, and we listen really well. But a lot of what we're doing is action based, consistency, doing the bullshit work, doing the boring work, showing up when you don't want to show up. And that's where a lot of the growth happens. Growth doesn't happen when things are going very easily. It's when things aren't going your way and you can lean into it, that allows you to move forward and actually see changes happen in your life that you're going to be proud of.
Absolutely. And I think to the point of, you asked earlier, why are we starting with fitness? What greater representation of that is there than fitness? Because if you want to grow in your fitness, whether that's cardio or strength or your muscle size or whatever it is, breakdown has to occur for you to be able to rebuild. And I think that's just a great representation of what you just said.
You just got to throw in that scientific parallel, huh?
I mean, got to start off small, but there's going to be some more in-depth ones. Yeah.
Chris is definitely going to say some shit in this podcast that I don't understand. So I'm just, you, the listener, and I might be on the same page more often than not, but we're going to figure it out together. I promise you that. So
that's right. I might say stuff that I don't understand.
Nobody's going to know. Say it with confidence. So yeah, I mean, thanks for checking us out, listening to who we are, where we're coming from, why we're here. We're going to be back with a ton of different episodes, dropping at least one per week for the foreseeable future. You can find me on Instagram at CAVANTV _ or Beyond Coaching at Join Beyond Coaching _ and message us if you want to keep this conversation going. This is something that we said today resonated with you. You want to know more about it. We're here to have a conversation. So I just want to let you know that we're here and we're ready to go, and we're going to work and we're going to have fun, and it's going to be fucking awesome. So where can they find you, Chris?
On IG, the Instagram, I am at Chris _Olson _fitness. That's CHRIS _OLSEN _FITNESS. You can find me at the same place with Kevin for our Join Beyond Coaching handle. But yeah, I'm super excited, and I hope you guys get some value out of today as our starting point, and look forward to sharing more and more as we keep this going.
All right. So we'll catch you next time. Appreciate you guys hanging out for a little bit. See you then.
Let's go.